My brothers and sisters, let me tell you a story about how wisdom found me yesterday morning. So I got up, I was going to say an early morning mass for the fraternist group, and I'm walking outside. It's maybe 5:30, 6 in the morning, and out I go. And the parking lot's lit, you know, but there's a portion of it that's in darkness as you go from the rectory over into the light. And so I don't know whether I should have been carrying a lamp or not. I don't know if I was foolish or wise. But as I turned that corner right by the work shed, there were two big shadows in the darkness right in front of me. I stopped. I looked at them. My brain did some quick calculation. This is happening in a matter of seconds. I said, oh, dog. Two dogs. Big dogs. Identical dogs. Coyotes. Oh. And I backed up. Human instinct kicked in. I took a step back. And they right on me. I said, oh. I took another step back. And they started coming towards me. If I was in New York, they'd be after my wallet. As it was, they were after my flesh. And then wisdom met me. And I didn't do any calculation. Again, I didn't stop and say, well, if this, then. It was just immediate. It's like somebody put the solution into my brain. You have a problem? Do this. Straight cut to God. And I sounded off and ah! A little bit louder than that, but there are children here. Caught the dog's attention, though. I started barking at him, because Mad Dog can't go back to jail. And that got their attention. My arms went up, and off they ran. I looked around, and they went into the light, and yep, coyotes, and off they went. And I felt pretty good. I was like, yeah, still got it, you know? And then it occurred to me, again, this is a space of 40 seconds maybe, all told, when I got my heart rate back. And I said to myself, no, I don't have anything. My natural human instinct was to run. And Lord knows I would have been in trouble then. Turn your back on two coyotes who take an interest in you and take off. That was my raw human instinct. What found me? Who found me? Wisdom. I heard the voice of the archangel. And he said, wake up, do this. Okay. Sees you right through it. It was an interesting day yesterday, but let's talk a little bit about the readings before I go into more of it. So, Paul talks about sleep and being awake. He's referring to death. The readings, the gospel, talks about 10 virgins, 5 wise, 5 foolish. Everybody falls asleep. My brothers and sisters, everyone in this room is going to fall asleep. Just as Paul says, everyone here will die. Whether you're killed by coyotes in a parking lot, or, please God, you're surrounded by loved ones and family after, say, 102 years of life. Everyone falls asleep. But what does God call us to? He says, be awake, stay awake, look for wisdom. And if you wait till the dawn, she will find you. The fathers, the early church fathers, said that wisdom was Jesus Christ, incarnate, wisdom itself, the person of. And he's questing for us. But he won't find us without us. You have to be alert. You have to be looking for him. Stay awake. It's an important message. But even then, as I said, it's like my natural human reaction. Whether I'm wise or foolish, it's easy to fall asleep. It's easy to be taken off guard. You need to be aware when the bridegroom calls you. Wake up, okay. And then what happens? The foolish look at the wise and they say, our torches are going out. We can't see anything. Share with us your oil. What's the oil? It's a parable, a bit of an allegory. And they say, no, we can't, because then we won't have enough either. But what is it that they really can't share with these foolish virgins? It's their experience, it's their life, it's their personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I can't give you my relationship with Jesus. It's mine, even if I wanted to. I am who I am, and you are who you are. There's a divide there. I can't bridge it myself. You need that if you want to be saved. If you want to live the Christian life, if you want to become a saint, you need to know the source of holiness, who is a person, who is wisdom. who is Jesus Christ, right over there, and soon to be right here. And so they say, go get some. Go get to know him, quick. And there must be time. Let me finish about how interesting my day was yesterday. So I got a call. I was in the middle of something, but I got a call. And someone was dying. The man was 102 years old. And off I went to his house. Maybe he had an hour or two to live. Again, it was close. So you go in. And he had never joined the Catholic Church. But we had every reason to believe that at this point he wanted to. So I conditionally baptized this 102-year-old man because we weren't sure if he had or not. And then I confirmed him. I had the oil he needed. The merchant, he made it to the merchant in time. And I took the sacred chrism and I confirmed him. And then I took out the other holy oil and I anointed him. And I said some prayers. I gave the most holy Eucharist to his wife. And then I was on my way because there was still other work to be done. My day would have been over if the coyotes had gotten me, but as it was, I was lucky. Still work. That man waited 102 years, and there was still time. Perhaps I wouldn't recommend that as your game plan, but the good Lord loves him, and the man was awake, and he found him. He heard the voice of the bridegroom, and he got through it. And so please God, may he be with him this day in paradise. Why? It's all true. He makes all the arrangements. And he calls out, and he wants to take us all with him. He wants us all to be in heaven. That's why Paul's writing in the second reading. He's been chased out of Thessalonica. I think I explained this, but just to refresh your memories. He's chased out of the city, and several months later he writes this letter. Why? He's trying to fill in gaps. One, he's reassuring them, and then two, he's trying to reassure them of like things he didn't talk about because he was only there a couple of months. So he's trying to spell it all out. And he's saying, look, if you die in Jesus Christ, you will be raised with him. If you stay with Jesus Christ, he will glorify you if he comes back before you die. Have faith. He says, and it's funny too, he says, it's basically the first shall be last and the last shall be first. First the dead are glorified, then those who are alive on the last day of judgment. And that brings us back to the gospel reading. Where is that set? Jesus Christ, the apostles have come to him. Again, it's Passion Week. It's about to be Good Friday. And they've come to him and they've said, when is the end of the world coming? And he spells out all these signs and stuff. Again, every tragedy that mankind knows, you will go through again and again and again, and then it will be particularly bad. And then that will be the mark of the end. He says, but wait. He says, let me tell you some parables. Don't lose hope. And what do they revolve around? Staying awake, being on your guard. The first one he tells is about a servant whose master puts in charge and then leaves for a while, and he starts to beat the other servants because he's in charge. And then he gets drunk, and he says, I'll be able to clean up my act before the master comes back. And then the master comes back, and he hasn't cleaned up his act. Guess what happens to him? And then he tells this parable about the 10 virgins, 5 wise, 5 foolish. Be awake. Pay attention. Get yourself ready. Because when the chips are down, no one else can have that relationship with Jesus Christ for you. Now again, there's plenty of intercession, there's plenty of prayers that can be said that will greatly aid you. Don't stop praying for your brothers and sisters. But what about you? Do you have that relationship? What is the answer? You're here. You have the opportunity. You have come to encounter wisdom incarnate in the flesh. And what does it say? It says, ultimately, the virtue of prudence, 2 virtues, prudence and virtue. The fulfillment of prudence is to know wisdom. What is prudence? To know what it is to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. So get to know Jesus Christ. And then the wisdom flows in. And suddenly, even though you are panicking, you know to scream at coyotes or whatever it is that you're encountering. If you encounter sin, you know to get away from it. And you know where he is. You know with whom you have to be. and he will guard you, and he will protect you because he loves you. Open your hands to receive that love, because he won't take you if you don't want to come. But if you do, if you just give him that opening, you'll be amazed at what he does with your life. He will make all of you saints, and you will all be called to the wedding feast, and you will not be locked outside in the outer darkness. It is a great gift to be a Christian, to be a Catholic. Light your lamps and hold them high, brothers and sisters. God bless you this morning.